We've escaped the deadly fridge freezer. Where the door just shut behind us, a pipe burst, sealed us in, but we made a makeshift bomb after enduring some tedious scientific explanations from June. But now we have to figure out how to get out of this room. And I don't know, I find this game quite relaxing in a way, just because there's no, although we are under time pressure, I don't know, it kind of feels like playing Disco Elysium a little bit. Just that, that kind of game. And I don't really drink, but I've felt like having some wine while I played. I don't think I've had a drink since... I think I had a drink at a family wedding in the summer, but I just felt like it. I don't know why. Right, so what the hell are we doing? Right, we've got to get out of the room. We've got a knife. We've got this chunk of pork. Can we cut this thing out? No. I think I might have already tried that. So I think we need to warm up the pork here. Guess I'll put this meat on the grill. Hey, what are you doing? What are you going to do if the paper burns? Come on, it'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's going to burn right away, is it? We just got to keep an eye on it. And the paper will be fine. Well, they can argue all they want. I'm going to keep an eye on this pork. Cool. Nice temperature-related pun there. Looks like it's about time. I'm going to try taking the paper out. Jumpy, be careful, alright? I know. We've got a bomb in our stomach. We've been abducted. We've got to get out of a locked room. We've been killed in a freezer, but let's be careful around the pork, June. Sweet of her to care, but I know what I'm... Ow! See? I told you. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Hurry up and take the paper out. It's not coming out. The thing's frozen stiff. I can't get it out. So we're going to have to cut the meat. Yeah, looks that way. Sweet. Looks like we'll have to cut into the meat and get that piece of paper. Hey, Junpei, I thought you had something you could cut meat with, didn't you? Yeah, I do. Alright, now that I've sharpened the knife, yes, I'll cut the pork. Awesome, Junpei. Now we can cut out the paper. Okay. What have you warned me about this? We're going to have to use that weird code. I can't remember, what was it called? I didn't make any notes about this. Oh yeah, I did. I don't know what it was called. I think we can go back to the item and click on it again. So we've got the pork note. Okay, so the weird bit is the 10, right? So C is 12. And F is 16. Sorry. But how did the 10 work? 10 worked in a weird way. Yep. Oh, 10 equals 16. Okay. So that would leave us with 43, right? I know we've got a calculator. I'll do it so that it's on screen. Shall I? God, that is loud! It's the most obnoxious calculator of all time. Oh, I said 50. No, did I say 53? 43. 43, everyone! Right, so that's how we get in here, right? This is probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Maybe if we put in the right number, it'll open the oven door. Junpei, maybe the note you found earlier. Yeah, I know. Do you know how to enter those numbers? Well, I don't know, Lotus. I'm not entirely sure how, on this number pad, we enter the numbers. Okay, yes. But basically, when I'm ready to submit my answer, I press E. So if I screw up, just press C, right? Lotus nodded. Alright, let's give it a shot. I can't use the number pad. God! Open sesame. Sounds like the metal is falling. Well, I guess that went well. Yeah! The door opened. Great job, Jumpy. Yeah, thanks, June. Yeah, I'm suspicious of June. I'm suspicious of everyone. Was it in... I think it was in my Mass Effect series where everyone was just like, I'm suspicious of everybody. Like, I'm such a contrarian. Like, someone acting nice is suspicious. Right? The Saturn keycard. We've had a Saturn symbol before, right? Yeah, so that's one of the doors in the main foyer. Excellent. Let's get the hell out of here, dude. There we go. Yes! I think it's unlocked now. You did it, Jumpy. Let's get out of it. Let's hope we've not missed anything. Huh. I think we're done. It's just, I'm a bit paranoid about potentially leaving something behind, because it does make me feel like a game where I could leave something behind that, you know, you only have one chance to get. And yeah. Oh well. Yes, let's go. Thank you. What did I find?
I think we've been here before.
Yeah, do you not remember Lotus saying this is how we get around the metal grate? A metal grate stretched from wall to wall. Beyond it were two elevators and the entrance to the kitchen.
The elevators are over there, so that means...
We went into the kitchen through that door and came out on this side.
That means the map was right.
Looks like.
Then let's use it to plan our next move.
Next move?
Yeah, we need to decide where to go from here, don't we?
He's right. Let's get started.
From the looks of it, there are 4 possible routes. Let's just keep it simple and call them A, B, C, and D.
Yes.
First, A and B.
They both seem to connect to a room that looks L-shaped.
Yeah, there were 2 doors. But they were both locked. We couldn't open them.
Right.
Now, route C. This goes all the way to the main staircase.
That means it's door 5, one of the numbered doors.
Then do you think we would meet up with the other 4 after this hallway?
Interesting. You think that's door 5?
No, I don't think we will.
Why not?
Because it's not designed that way.
Look, there by the stairs. See how the gate is opened? When we went into the kitchen, it was closed. But it's open now. What do you think that means?
They opened it.
Most likely.
And if we take route C, we're going backwards.
That would be pointless.
Then that means...
All 4 looked at the map. They all looked at the staircase, its lazy curve leading down deeper into the ship.
Route D, then.
D it is.
Yep, Route D.
Then we're set.
Okay, I don't get a choice, so I don't have to feel any kind of guilt. They jogged down the stairs until they reached the C deck.
Everything looks okay here.
Let's check the next deck just to be sure.
Yeah, just like I thought. D-deck is totally underwater.
Just like the bottom of the central staircase.
The water gazed back at them, its smooth surface like a great mirror.
At least the water level hasn't really changed.
Small comfort.
May as well head back to C-Deck.
What else is here?
There are 2 elevators over there at the top of the stairs. Just like the floor above.
Inoperable, though.
Hold on. These are kind of different.
Yeah, they've got a marking on them.
See? There's a card reader on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Another strange mark.
Hey, look! It's Lotus's symbol.
Huh?
See? It's the woman symbol with horns on it. That seems like... Oh! Ouch! 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 Ouch!
Lotus had taken hold of Junpei's hair. She began to shake him violently. He thought he heard a low growl coming from her throat.
What was that about the mark again?
Nothing.
Such violence! Junpei began to wonder if she wasn't the devil itself. With an uncomfortable smile, June spoke up.
This is a Mercury symbol.
Okay, we've got Mercury now. I'm trying to make a mental note of this.
The horns symbolize the wings on Hermes' staff.
Hermes, herpes, whatever.
Wait, lower the tone, Santa!
If we can't get this thing to work, these elevators aren't going anywhere.
In other words, we need a key card with the Mercury symbol on it.
Probably.
I guess we
Jesus.
can't get on then. Let's just disregard the elevators for now.
How about this hallway on the left?
Whoa, there's so many doors.
Her scared face is just hilarious. They weren't sure how many, but certainly enough to be discouraging.
Damn it. If we try and search all these, the sun's gonna go down before we've done half of them.
I think the sun already set.
I have a feeling this ship is the only thing that's going to be going down anytime soon.
Yeah, good one.
That's even worse.
Well, we can come back to this hallway later. Let's check the hallway on the other side, shall we?
Time to head back to the stairs.
To their right was a small hallway.
And now the right hallway.
Quickly, they headed into it. It was approximately the same size as the alcove in front of the stairs. The hallway led towards the stern, and at its end was a set of double doors.
There are doors here too. Well, I guess it's just 4 this time.
Let's open them.
All right, let's start with this one.
Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move.
Huh, it isn't locked. I'm going to open it.
Thrilled to have found an unlocked door, he threw it open. Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw.
What?
Okay. Three, 7, 8. He simply stood, unable to speak. The others simply stared open-mouthed. After a few long moments, Santa managed to speak.
What the hell is this? This place is huge.
I get the feeling we're never going to see the other guys again, aren't we? A massive room stretched out in front of them. More a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on the 4 companions. It wasn't empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds.
Oh, there are beds everywhere.
They were simple things, little more than pipe and thin mattresses.
Is this a hospital?
He had at last been able to put a name to the harsh scent that pervaded the room.
It definitely has the smell.
Right.
Could be. I see medicine cabinets and surgical tools.
Hey, look there. The 4 doors at the end.
3 of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers, made with thick red paint.
The left door says 3. The second door is blank, but the third has a 7. And the rightmost door is 8. There's no doubt. They're numbered doors.
Why is the second door blank?
Maybe the others went through it. Guess it'd still be a card reader, though.
That seems kind of strange, don't you think?
No point worrying about it right now. Let's see if these will open first.
Yes, that sounds like a good plan.
Junpei headed toward doors, weaving his way between the beds. He started with door number 3 on the left and moved to the right until he reached door number 8.
Oh, it's no use.
Well, of course. If it was that easy to open these doors, what would be the point of the notary game? We have to activate the red, or the numbered doors won't... Wait a minute.
What's wrong?
Look, the display on the red. There's nothing on it.
Huh?
Don't you remember? The red at the central staircase? If no one was inside, it said vacant.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But this one,
There's nothing on it.
right?
So they were Ace, Snake, Clover, and 7. Have I done that right? Yeah, because they went through door number 5. So how would they have gotten through this one? Sorry about that.
I wonder if it's broken.
Only one way to find out.
It's not responding.
All 4 took turns placing their hands over the red, but it refused to respond. They pulled at the lever and still it did nothing. As soon as they discovered it wasn't the only red for door 8 that was behaving... It wasn't only the red for door 8 that was behaving strangely.
How about the red on door 7? And door 3?
None of them are working.
No,
What does it mean?
means I think it means we've not completed whatever our tasks are here. Like we've not completed door number 4 yet.
I knew it. They're broken. Zero sure sucks at maintenance.
You know,
No, that's impossible. You really think Zero, who prepared all of this, would make such a stupid, simple mistake?
Maybe, but that doesn't explain why this thing ain't working.
It was at that moment that they heard a voice from behind them.
I believe the bottom of the device has been removed.
Hey! They spun around to see...
Snake!
But it was more than just Snake.
Ace! Clover! 7!
Although they were glad to see one another, it wasn't terribly surprising that they had. If it had been the other party who'd opened the gate in front of the kitchen, it wasn't unreasonable that they'd bump into one another eventually. The rest of Snake's team, however, did look rather surprised.
How?
How did you guys...
How did you end up here?
That's my line?
Perhaps we should exchange information.
Yes. After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they'd ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile. Almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. No, thought Junpei. Perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way, no. The ninth man had died, but they were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. Yeah, it's kind of selfish thing as well, right? Gives them hope that if they split up, it's not like... I guess, I don't know, I guess it reveals a layer of the game as well, like taking away the element of randomness, that, oh, maybe this door's booby-trapped and this one's good and we have no way of knowing which is which. No, if we succeed in playing the game, we can live, I suppose. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought. The joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Junpei was just happy to be alive.
There you have it. Our half of the story.
His part finished, Ace fell silent. For a moment, Junpei was silent in thought, and he spoke.
Okay, let me see if I got all this straight. When you guys got here, the bases for the Reds were already gone.
And you looked all over this room, but you couldn't find anything.
So you figured that there might be something in the hallway with all the doors.
So you went and had a look?
Yeah.
And while you were looking around, you heard voices.
Uh-huh. So you followed the voices and came back here.
Indeed. And that was how we found you.
Why don't we check those 3 Reds again, just in case?
Yeah.
You're right. Huh. There's a long, thin gap on the bottom. I think it's a slot for something. Probably electronic.
Well, this isn't good. If the red is inactive, we can't keep going.
Well, what about that hallway over there? Isn't there anywhere else we can go?
No, there isn't. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else.
Right.
Hospital rooms. That's what's behind all those doors?
Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one.
There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked.
There was an astrological symbol engraved near the keyhole, however. I was able to get a good feel of it. I believe it was the symbol of Jupiter.
What did we pick up? Mercury?
Not again. Those goddamn things are everywhere.
I wonder what they all mean.
For a moment, everyone was silent, deep in thought.
While we're asking what things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this.
Of all people, it was Seven who answered, and with calm confidence.
Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship. Chances are it's the Gigantic.
The Gigantic?
Junpei looked confused. So did everyone else.
What is this gigantic?
Seven knit his brow for a moment, then began to explain.
The Gigantic.
Don't say that. Next
She was
to...
a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century.
Sister ship.
Actually, the Titanic had two sister ships, and they looked exactly the same. The Gigantic was said to be one of them. They intended to make her a passenger liner like the Titanic, but World War I began soon after the ship launched. The British Navy took her over and made her a hospital ship. At some point during the war, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She ran aground afterwards, so she didn't end up sunk. What happened to her after that? One theory going around is that a man named Lord Gordain bought her. Seemed like he'd been one of the few to survive the Titanic sinking. That trauma turned him into some kind of obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. Soon enough, the guy wanted the Titanic itself. Which was impossible, of course. It's stuck at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. But the Gigantic wasn't. And seeing as she was identical...
So you're saying this Lord Gordain bought this ship?
Yeah, at least I think I am.
I don't know if any element of that is true. I don't think it is, but I could, might be true. It being called the Gigantic doesn't sound very British, I've got to admit.
That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old.
Pipe down. Just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof?
Proof?
Proof that this ship is really the Gigantic.
Well, this ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. So, I just figured.
Oh, for goodness. Don't tell me that's your only reason.
Come on, it's sound logic.
No, I've got more.
You tell us, Seven.
Like?
Well, I mean...
Don't say the word Gigantic around Lotus. She'll get upset. Seven looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. He scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Finally, he opened his mouth.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed and shook her head.
I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey, whoa, wait a minute. Memory isn't back?
Junpei was, he felt, legitimately shocked by what seemed to be new and very important information. Everyone else, however, seemed unimpressed. Yeah, maybe obviously, maybe I should have thought about this, but they spent maybe, I don't know how long they spent together before we found them, before Junpei found the rest of the group. In fact, yeah, the other interesting thing is that June was separate from everyone as well. In fact, they all looked at Junpei as though he had said something very strange.
Yeah?
Your point being?
He decided to revise his attitude for the next question.
Wait, was I the only one that didn't know?
Everyone nodded.
Why?
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't tell you, huh? I told the rest of them before we ran into you on the stairs. I told them I couldn't remember a damn thing from before I woke up.
What?
Retrograde amnesia, Junpei. Then, almost as if to save Junpei from further embarrassment, a bell began to ring from far away. So maybe going to get another message from Old Zero here.
Huh. A bell.
It sounds like the clock in the main stairway.
So is it going to be the amount of people still alive? Junpei counted each chime carefully. Oh no, it's how many hours are left, right?
10, 11, 12. 12.
It's midnight. Then we've still got 6 hours left, right?
We don't have any time to screw around. Let's get going. We gotta find the missing parts for the Reds.
What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose we do that?
We've looked everywhere in this room. That only leaves one place to look.
One?
Well, not just one.
Hmm?
Wait.
God, she's so distracting. I can't. I can't pretend it's not distracting.
Don't tell me you mean we need to search all of the other rooms.
Don't freak out. We've already searched 4 of them.
4 rooms?
We just have to split up the rest between the 8 of us. If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time.
There are 48 other rooms?
Oh. Her early experiences had apparently not encouraged Lotus to trust Seven. Seven scratched his head awkwardly.
Maybe?
All right, so everyone knows which area they're searching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes!
Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from fore to aft.
We'll all meet up when the clock goes off again. How about in that room with all the beds?
Yeah. Sounds straightforward enough.
I'll shout if I find any of the components we need.
I hope we can find them within the time limit.
I hope we can.
If we can't, then we'll just have to come up with another plan.
Right.
Then let's do this.
The details decided, they left to begin searching. Out in the hallway, they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However, from far away, Junpei heard the bell ring. It did so only once. It was 1 a.m.
It's 1. I better get back to the others.
The hell, did we fall asleep? He jogged through the entrance of the large hospital room to find 6 of the others already there.
Huh?
Ace, Santa, Clover, June, Seven, and Lotus. No Snake. They had gathered in front of door number 8. Or perhaps, to be accurate, they'd gathered in front of the red next to door number 8.
What are they doing over there?
Had one of them found the missing piece?
What happened, guys?
It was June who answered him.
Jumpy, look!
She was pointing at the red. He pushed through the others until he stood in front of it. Immediately, he knew what she'd meant.
Vacant?
Junpei sighed.
Come on, guys. Who was it? I thought we were supposed to yell if we found it.
Well,
Junpei wondered why she was hesitating. The others looked as confused as June, but kept their mouths shut.
What the hell? What is up with you guys?
They all knew something he didn't, and Junpei wasn't about to leave things that way. Finally, Lotus frowned and spoke. Maybe when she put if it was like a battery and she put it in, she automatically scanned or something?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know.
No.
You don't know.
When I got back, it was already like this. There was no one else here.
Where's Snake?
That means I was the first one back, but the missing parts were already back in the red.
What? Let me see.
Junpei looked at the bottom of the red again, just to make sure. The slot had been open on the bottom. The slot that had been open on the bottom was now covered with metal.
You're right. It's in there. What about the other 2?
They're the same.
Let me take a look.
Really? Junpei quickly examined the other 2 boxes. Right, so everyone's going to be suspicious.
Just as you said.
Suspicious of Snake now. Satisfied that they were also repaired but still very confused, he returned to the others.
All right, I just want to be sure here. Nobody has any idea what the hell happened here, right?
Correct.
none.
Ace and June nodded silently. Seven raised his hands as if to say, "Not me," and Santa just shrugged. Only Clover lowered her head and did nothing.
Huh. Wait a minute.
Yeah, where's Snake? That was when he noticed.
Where's Snake?
Junpei swept his eyes across the room for a second time, but Snake was nowhere to be seen.
Does that mean that he found them?
I've no idea. There's nothing to suggest it, but nothing to suggest he didn't either.
I don't suppose we'll know until we can ask him in person.
Well, whatever he did or didn't do, he's pretty damn late. What the hell is he up to?
Maybe he's lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that seems likely. Dude can't see. I don't know how he gets around in the first place.
Clover raised her head.
No! That's impossible!
Suddenly, she was shouting.
Yeah, my brother's blind, but he's got really great hearing. He can get around as well as anyone who can see.
Okay.
So he couldn't get lost. That's impossible.
Well, no, it's possible for people who can see to get lost. Clover had started to shake and the knuckles of her hands had gone white. She spun around, but before she did, Junpei noticed tears welling up in her eyes.
I'm gonna go look for him.
I'm sorry. Oh. The words were barely out of her mouth when she began to run.
Hey, hold on, Clover. Wait!
Junpei cried out to her, but he was too slow. She kept going, and before anyone else could react, she was gone.
Well, that didn't work. Damn it. What should we do now?
Well, the red is working now.
No, we're not leaving two people behind. We should go look for them.
Oh man, this ain't good.
Oh, yes, what an excellent idea. We just wasted a bunch of time looking for some piece of electronic junk. Now let's waste some more by looking for a couple of idiots.
Don't call them idiots, not when you're wearing that get-up.
Then remain here if you feel you must, but there's no time. We've only 5 hours left.
Junpei and the others nodded to one another and took off at a run. In front of the stairs that led to B deck, they decided to split up.
Let's split up.
All right, I'll take this direction.
Then I shall look that way.
I'll be over here.
See you all later.
Soon only two of them were left. Those two were Junpei and June, who had been a few steps behind the others.
All right, we should go too.
Yes, let's go. But where should we start?
Let's see.
Don't make me choose! Oh. Back to the large hospital room. What, I think he might have been asleep under one of the beds, waiting for us to come back. Doubtful. That suggests we might be going back to, you know, well, we can't betray the others because there's only two of us. We need at least 3 people to get through a door, so let's go to the casino.
How about the casino on B deck?
Okay, let's go, Jumpy.
They took off up the stairs at a run. No one else exactly said where they were going. Before they knew it, they were there. So was Lotus. She was leaning against the wall, examining her nails. God's sake.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
She glanced up at him, unimpressed.
Isn't it obvious? I'm looking for Snake.
I'm just not seeing it.
Really? Maybe you need to look harder.
I don't think that's the problem.
Couldn't look any
Oh,
harder.
by the way, I've got a proposal for you two.
Oh,
Care to hear it?
sure. Might as well hear her out.
What is it?
Well, I don't like to beat around the bush, so I'll get right to it. Why don't we team up?
Team up?
Yeah. What? You need me to explain it to you? I'm saying, why don't we go through a numbered door?
Even if we wanted to, that's impossible.
what? 14. Yeah.
Why?
The digital route doesn't
Jumpy's
work.
bracelet number is 5, mine is 6, and yours is 8.
Exactly. We'd literally need... Oh no. I don't know.
Our digital route would be 1. But there's no number 1 door in the large hospital room. The only doors there are 3, 7, and 8.
I take what I said about Lotus being intelligent back.
Then we add another person.
Huh?
Who?
What, isn't that easy? 7.
Well, for door number 8.
If we add 7, 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus the digital root of 26.
Yes, 8. Then the 4 of them could go through the number 8 door.
Wait a
But-
minute. What about the other 4? Ace, Snake, Santa, and Clover.
Well, why don't you add them up?
That was simple enough.
1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10, and 1 plus 0. The digital root for those 4 would be 1.
So they'd be dead.
That's right.
And you know the number 1 door isn't in the big hospital room, right?
Of course I know that.
No! Are you saying you'd leave them behind?
Of course not. What kind of woman do you think I am? Once we get off the ship, we could come back and rescue
Oh,
them, couldn't we?
bullshit.
Then we wouldn't really be leaving them behind.
See, like, we have to do this by the rules of the game, otherwise there's just no point.
Don't try to lie to us.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you do anything of the sort.
Really? Why do you think that?
You remember, don't you? We have less than 5 hours left. Even if we manage to escape, there's no way we could come back to rescue them in less than 5 hours.
Exactly.
Well, you never know until you try.
Nah, bollocks.
No, you're not thinking this through. Even if we brought 7 with us, we wouldn't be able to get off the ship. The 4 of us couldn't open door 9. It is hidden, but an exit can be found.
Great point, Junpei.
Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
I don't know if I've thought about who can open 9.
Yeah, that's right. The digital route for the 4 of us would be 8, so we'd have to add Ace to make 9.
That's right. Unless we bring Ace too, we'll be stuck.
Lotus scratched the back of her ear.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
It's not as simple as that, because we've only seen door number 4 and 5. Now we've got door 3, 7, and 8. So there's going to be doors 2 and 9 left, right? What have we had? Doors 2 and 6 are still left, so we'd have to split up again. So all this is a pointless discussion.
Unfortunate. That's all you have to say?
She didn't sound particularly bothered by what Junpei said, nor did she seem particularly surprised.
Well, let's try and find another way, okay? A way to get out of here with all 8 of us.
Yes, that's the spirit.
That's impossible. Are you being serious? And you do know that only 5 people, at most, can go through one of the numbered doors, right?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
number 9 isn't going to be an exception to that rule. Regardless, at least 3 people will get left behind.
Yeah, but we have to get to that point. We're going to have to keep splitting up.
Huh?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
The moment he said it, Junpei felt a chill run down his spine.
No. Wait just a second. You're skipping over a really big detail.
Yes, what she said was true, but how Lotus could remain cavalier about so terrifying a prospect was beyond him.
Is that really okay? That means 3 people will die in the end. Are you okay with that? That's just...
I mean, did Zero say anything about going through a door multiple times? Although I doubt we could have 2 groups that add up to 9, so I don't know, I'd need to do the maths. Lotus's forehead furrowed. Is there any way for for both groups to add up to 9, and then they could go through the door one after another? Or did Zero say that that's not possible? Not sure.
Do you think I could have a moment alone? There's some things I need to think about.
Yeah, treachery and deceit. She's the worst. Junpei and June turned and began walking away from Lotus.
That didn't turn out to be a very pleasant conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could argue she's just being pragmatic in a way, but I think if you think it through, like, you need to have as many people alive for as long a period of time to get to the end. If you just betray everyone at the earliest opportunity, I feel like the game would break down in terms of being able to get through the doors and succeed. But he told himself pessimism would get them nowhere.
Well, regardless,
So he forced himself to smile and turned to June.
let's just focus on finding Snake for now, okay?
Yes, you're right. We can think about those other things later.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
All right. Where should we go next?
Let's stay on B deck.
Let's go take a look at the first-class cabin. It's really close.
They turned around and took off down the hallway to their left. Outside of the first-class cabin, they found Clover. She was standing in front of the wall. She was staring at a meaningless point on the wall, her eyes blank. What should Junpei do? Talk to her.
Are you all right?
He did his best to sound friendly, but Clover didn't respond.
Look, I know you're really worried, but...
Could think of no words to say that didn't sound hollow and fake. Junpei hesitated. Clover was so consumed by worry and fear that Junpei feared it would crush her. Her actions didn't surprise him. She suddenly lost her brother, who she seemed to have been very close to.
Alone,
Her voice was thin and barely audible.
alone,
Alone.
alone. I said leave me alone!
Oh. Suddenly she was screaming.
You're so annoying! Just go away and leave me alone! Just looking at you guys is pissing me off! Go away, okay? Just go somewhere else! Stop bothering me!
Okay! Junpei was taken aback.
Such
Such anger and hate. June's eyes had gone wide with surprise
Why
as
are
well.
you still here? Didn't you hear me? Huh? Fine, forget it. If you aren't gonna leave, then I'll just...
All right. Let's go, June.
Yeah.
They turned and left Clover. As they did, Junpei glanced back over his shoulder to see Clover wiping tears from her face. Okay, great. Clover had driven home the misery of their situation, but Junpei told himself that getting depressed would get him nowhere but depressed.
We really need to find Snake, for Clover's sake.
Hey, a haiku. He did his best to push away the misery and depression and forced a smile.
So, where do you think we should go next?
I don't want to talk to Lotus again.
Hey, why don't we go back to C deck? We can take a look at that hallway with all the rooms.
Okay, let's get going then.
Together, they ran down the stairs.
Oh, it's Ace.
Ahead of them, farther down the hallway, they spotted Ace.
Hey, Snake! Where are you? Answer me if you're there!
Oh. Whatever, let's talk to him.
Let's go.
With June in tow, Junpei jogged up to Ace. Hearing their footsteps, he turned to greet them.
Ah, hello there. Snake is... Well, that's obvious, isn't it? I assume you haven't found him yet?
Yeah, doesn't seem like you're having any luck either.
I really wonder where he could have gone.
Well, wherever he's disappeared to, we must find him as quickly as we can. For Clover's sake.
Right.
June's face looked kinda enraptured.
By the way, do you think Clover and Snake are really siblings?
Why would you say that?
The question seemed somehow odd to Junpei.
Why? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? They don't look alike at all.
Ace looked at him for a moment and then spoke.
Yes, you know, now that you mention it, they don't.
now that you mention it.
Still, there are a great many siblings who do not look like one another.
Very true.
It certainly isn't rare.
Junpei wasn't sure why, or even if he was seeking what he thought he was, but he could have sworn that Ace's face tightened as he spoke.
At any rate, we really must find Snake as soon as possible. The clock is ticking. We really can't afford to waste any time. Very well. Let's get back to the search, shall we? You can leave this area to me.
All right.
All right.
Let's go, Jumpy.
At June's urging, they left. Found themselves back at the stairs, but Junpei's mind was in turmoil.
Something about that was... I'll think on it later. Like Ace said, finding Snake is our top priority.
Junpei did his best to clear his mind.
All right, where should we go next?
I don't know if we should go back to the hospital room. Should we go and annoy Clover again? I just want to go back to see if there's an option to leave her alone.
Let's go check out the first-class cabin.
Okay, I'm coming with you.
They quickened their pace and headed for B-Deck.
No one's here. Maybe we'll have more luck somewhere else. But where? How about the casino?
Let's go take a look.
They turned and headed off down the hallway to their right to jog. I'm just going to treat this like with video game logic. You know, you're expected to go back to places to see if something changed.
There's no one here. Let's try somewhere else.
Well, we can look for stuff.
Let's go back down.
I just want to double check stuff.
Oh, nobody's here. Let's look somewhere else.
But where?
Alright,
Why don't we go back to the big hospital room?
Okay, let's go then.
They turned, yep.
Hey, wait. That's...
Not looking for anything. On their way to the large hospital room, Junpei and June noticed Santa standing next to the number 3 door.
Santa?
Junpei paused. Junpei and June walked up to Santa.
What are you doing?
What? You can't tell? I'm checking out the red.
Why? Is there something bothering you?
What? It's not bothering you?
Huh?
The guts of this red. Why wouldn't you wonder who the hell put it back in here?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm curious too, but...
Who do you think did it?
Santa's eyes narrowed as he looked at June. She shook her head.
I don't know.
Well, what about you, Junpei? Who do you think fixed this thing for us?
0, probably.
I think it was probably 0.
Why?
Isn't that obvious? He's the guy who set this whole thing up.
You don't think that should mean the opposite? Seems to me like that means he didn't do it. I mean, who do you think took that stuff out in the first place?
Probably 0.
Yeah, exactly. And why the hell would he put him back in after he'd taken them out himself? It just doesn't make sense.
Does any of this make sense? We're just being manipulated in various ways, none of which have any... none of which have a sensical nature to them.
Why
right?
do all that work?
Why do all that work? We're a replica of the Titanic going through numbered doors because of a digital route. What do you mean, why do all the work?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
So, what happened then? Who put that stuff back in the Reds?
0! Junpei furrowed his brow.
So, in other words...
Why would he go to all that work? Seriously, dude, that's the stupidest question I've ever heard. Come on. We're on a replica of the Titanic with bombs in our stomachs. We've been abducted. There's elaborate puzzles, digital scanner doors, key cards related to the planetary cycles. I mean, why go to all that effort taking out a few batteries out of these wrist readers? Yeah, that's a step too far, right? The rest of it, perfectly reasonable. But taking the batteries out of the Reds, you crazy?
One of us is the person who fixed the red.
Bingo! We have a winner.
No, we don't.
But if that's true, then the person who did it doesn't want the rest of us to know that they fixed it.
Yeah,
But why?
no idea. Maybe if they come clean on that, it means we'd find out something else. Something bad.
Something bad?
Dunno. But whatever it is, it's gotta be worth hiding. Of course, it could have something to do with Snake's disappearance.
Very true.
You think maybe they did something to Snake?
Yeah, like maybe he was tampering with it. Maybe he found a way to deactivate it or tamper with the electronics inside or something.
Yeah.
Being too clever for his own good. Junpei stared at Santa. There was something about him that made Junpei wary. At first, he'd assumed the other man wasn't terribly clever, but Junpei was beginning to think he'd need to reevaluate that assessment. Yeah. Everyone's intelligent in a certain way, right? Everyone's an idiot in their own way as well, by that same sentiment, but you know, there are all different kinds of intelligence, right? Intelligence isn't just one singular thing, right? It means like being proficient at a certain aspect of life. When Santa spoke again, his voice was quiet.
Look, if you trust anybody in this game, you're gonna lose.
I don't know.
You've gotta be careful. The person you trust the most could turn out to be the one who stabs you in the back.
Look at her. With that depressing suggestion, he turned and quietly walked away.
And that's that, I guess.
Junpei and June looked at one another and smiled awkwardly. Where would they go next? Let's just see if it...
Let's go take a look around the...
Okay.
Let's just see if anything happens differently.
There's no one... Let's try somewhere else.
Right.
Hey, why don't we go back to the big hop...
Sure, let's go.
I think that's it. I don't think that... I've been everywhere more than once.
I don't think anyone is here. What next? Let's go...
I'm just going to do this... Sorry, I'm just going to do this one more time.
Oh, nobody's here. Let's look somewhere else.
But where?
Why don't we...
Okay.
Apologies.
I don't think...
That's it. They looked everywhere they could think of, but Snake was nowhere to be found. Jeez, man.
Snake hasn't been anywhere we've searched.
Lotus looked around at 6 frustrated faces and spoke.
And we can't keep looking for him. Wherever he is, it's not here. We need to get moving.
But, like, the reality here is we need at least, like, 6 people to avoid, like, killing each other here, right? Because if we keep getting presented with multiple doors, we're going to need to find an amicable way of splitting up to stop us from literally trying to kill each other. Junpei couldn't disagree with what she was saying. Snake seemed to have completely disappeared. There was no point to wasting any more time. The others seemed to be having similar thoughts, but they stayed silent. Finally, 7 spoke.
We don't got a choice. Lotus is right. We're not gonna find Snake. There's a problem, though.
Yeah, his sister's not going to leave without him.
We've got to figure out who's gonna go through which door.
Yes, I have a proposal.
Yeah, of course you do. She walks back and forth across the floor, her heels clicking against the wood. Finally, she stopped.
Why don't we decide on one person to sacrifice?
Sacrifice?
This is what she's been thinking about. She wants to put it to a vote.
Well, perhaps that's a bit of a harsh word, but yes. You've all figured it out by now, haven't you? We can't all make it through those doors. If we split into 2 teams of 4 and 3 people respectively, then 3 people will be left behind. If we split into 2 teams of 5 and 2 people respectively, then 2 people will be left behind. But if we split into 2 groups of 3 and leave 1 person out, then only 1 person will be left behind.
Why, has she done the maths? Is there no way of doing a 4 and 3? Leaving behind 3 people with 2 teams of... Why does that mean leaving behind? Junpei wasn't quite sure that was true.
Wait a minute.
Hmm?
2 people get left behind if we split into 5 and 2. And 1 person is left behind if we split into 3, 3, and 1. I got that part. You can't go through the numbered doors with any less than 3 people. But if we split into 4 and 3, then why do 3 people have to be left behind?
She must have done all the permutations.
Just run the numbers.
Yeah.
Let's say we go through door 7 with 1, 4, 5, 6. Who's left over?
That would be 3, 7, 8.
18, 9.
What's the digital root for that?
3
9.
plus 7 plus 8 is 18, so add 1 and 8, 9.
Exactly. But door 9 isn't here, right? That means 3, 7, 8 won't be going anywhere. That was just an example, of course.
Yeah, it needed to be 2, 7, and 8.
There are a lot of different combinations, but the result will always be the same. It doesn't matter which 4 it is. The 3 that are left over can't go through any of the doors. Go ahead and calculate it if you have the time. You'll see.
Yeah, I will! I will, lady! Don't you think I'm not going to work this out? Even if I have to put this section in fast forward. So we don't have Snake. Right, Snake's gone. So we don't have number 2. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we've got doors 3, 7, and 8. So we need a 3 and a 4 to sort us out here. Okay, okay. I think she's right. I've done most of them.
Anyway, that's how it is. Now, if we can get back to my proposal.
I think we could save everyone if Snake was here.
We only have to sacrifice 1 person if we split into 3, 3, and 1.
I know she's going to suggest it's Clover, right? When Seven spoke, his voice was strained.
Then you're saying we gotta decide who's gonna stay behind.
Lotus!
Yes, we do. Given our circumstances, it's logically and morally the best solution. If the other 6 are to survive, then 1 person has to sacrifice themselves.
No, that's too cruel.
What's so cruel about it?
To just sacrifice someone like that?
Then what's your plan? Maybe we should sacrifice 2 people instead of just 1.
That's not what I meant. We shouldn't sacrifice anyone.
I told you, that's impossible. Wake up.
Whoa, whoa. Calm down, you 2.
There's always a male character who pipes up who thinks that the women are being hysterical. That is a really sexist trope you see in so much. Like, well, you see it in so much in like a lot of old films. Oh, calm down.
Look, what Lotus is trying to say is...
That's such a sexist trope, isn't it? Whoa, ladies, calm down.
You should aim to bring the greatest amount of happiness to the greatest amount of people, right?
What?
Exactly. That's how democracy works. And for that reason, I think the only fair way to decide who will be sacrificed is through a vote. What do you think?
No, that's terrible.
I'm not asking you. Shut up.
All right, we're not a democracy anymore.
What about you, Santa?
Me? Well, I agree, I guess.
All right, that's 1 vote for. Counting mine, that's 2. 7.
I can't say I agree with you, but we don't exactly have a choice. If we don't do something, we're all gonna die.
Oh, glad to see you get it. If I can get 1 more vote, then it's decided. What about you, Clover?
Oh yeah, she's not leaving her brother behind. Clover had moved away from the group and was sitting on one of the beds. Her whole body dropped. Junpei didn't know if she'd even heard Lotus's proposal.
Clover,
Lotus walked over to Clover and gently laid a hand on her shoulder.
your brother has to be behind one of the numbered doors. We've searched everywhere, but we didn't find him.
Interesting.
Doesn't that mean he has to have gone through one of them somehow?
Clover slowly lifted her face.
Let's go look for him together.
Why
Okay?
Can't we look through the door with no writing on it?
If we sacrifice one person, then we can go look for him. You agree with me, right?
Okay.
The motion carries.
I think the best thing to do would be to send 5 people through and leave 2 behind, because then if Snake is still here, or is through the double doors that don't have a number on, I think that as soon as we go through one of these doors, the 2 double doors that don't have any, that doesn't have any writing on, are going to open, and that's where we might find Snake. And then if we leave 2 people behind, that gives them an opportunity to go through. Like if we leave 2. So if we left Santa and Lotus, ironically, behind... No. Why can't I do maths anymore? No, sorry. If we left June and Clover behind, and then they were to find Snake, they could go through door number 3 with the 3 of them and they'd be alive. Lotus spun around and walked towards Junpei.
Now, let's start a vote too.
That won't be necessary.
Ace had barely spoken for Lotus's entire speech and everyone jumped a little. 6 pairs of eyes turned to look at him. He didn't seem to notice or even care.
I will stay. That should solve our problem, yes?
Ace, what are you saying? No, you can't do that. That won't solve anything.
June's voice shook and she looked around desperately for someone to agree with her. Ace simply looked at her.
June, I'm afraid you may have misunderstood me. I said I would stay, but I never said I would sacrifice myself.
Huh?
I trust you. Each and every one of you. I believe you'll come back for me.
Whoa. There's optimistic, and then there's just nuts. Those doors only go one way. You go in, you don't come out. If we go through them...
You won't be able to return, correct?
Yeah.
True, but that will not be the case once you've escaped from the ship.
What?
Please, I beg you. Once you've escaped, come back and rescue me. Ideally, within the time limit Zero has given us.
No, that's ridiculous. There's no way we could get back in time.
Finally, Junpei could hold his tongue no longer.
We've only got 5 hours left. We don't even know where the hell we are.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen here, Clover's not going to want to stay, and then they're going to find Snake, and then they'll have the digital route for 7, right? 1, 2, and 4, and then we'll meet up with them again.
How on earth are we gonna find someone to come and rescue you?
Then, perhaps you would prefer to stay instead of me? Or perhaps you would be willing to leave June behind?
Ace's voice was dignified and without a hint of cruelty or malice. Junpei had no rebuttal.
You see, there's no other choice. Then I see we've come to our conclusion. Go on. Don't worry yourselves about me. Go, quickly.
Junpei stood frozen by indecision, unable to move. June bit her lip so hard that Junpei feared she'd break the skin. Santa stood against the wall, calm and aloof. Seven tore his beanie from his head and turned it over anxiously in his hands. Only Clover stared at Ace, with an expression Junpei was unable to decipher. Lotus's attitude, however, was different from the others.
Good. Let's accept his kind offer then.
She smiled, her eyes bright. Ace answered with a smile of his own.
Good. I think this is the best for me. Perhaps I'll be able to take a nap. It may be my age, but I get tired so easily these days.
As he spoke, Ace lowered himself down to the floor next to one of the beds. He's under the bed. From somewhere deep in the ship, Junpei suddenly heard the screeching of metal on metal. It was almost as if the ship was screaming. Are we about to get more flooding? Would it really hold until their time limit was up? Already D-Deck was flooded. In the sudden silence, the only sound was the sad metal wail of the ship. Unsurprisingly, it was Lotus who spoke first.
Well, what are you waiting for? We're wasting time. Why don't we hurry it up?
As if a spell had been broken, the others all began to talk at once. Right, hang on. I keep wanting to do maths here, so and I should be doing it here, not on my notepad. Right, so if Ace stays, and I'm predicting that Clover's going to stay behind, that leaves us with Santa, us, June, Seven, and Lotus. So we wouldn't be able to get through a door. Yeah. Crap.
You're right. We should get going. That's all we can do right now.
Seven?
Seriously. Honestly, I was getting kind of sick of listening to you guys talk.
You too, Santa? I have to find my brother. Wait, all of you. Let's just calm down and think about this. There has to be a way to get everyone out. They're right, Jumpy?
Sorry.
Say something.
Yeah, let's think. There's gotta be another way.
This door right here has got to have something to do with it. His words sounded hollow and fake.
Fine! Forget about it! I'll figure it out on my own.
He spun around and ran toward Ace. He'd slumped down next to the bed when June grabbed his arm and pulled.
Ace! Come on, Ace. Please stand up. You can't give up yet. We just have to sit down together and think about this. We'll figure out a way that we can all get out of here.
Then it happened. Was he ill, perhaps? Ace fell forward. He slumped over onto the wooden floor. His body folded in half like a boxer out cold.
Ace!
June cried out and dropped to her knees beside him. She put her arm around his neck and did her best to lift him up.
What happened? Ace, say something!
She shook him frantically. His eyes fluttered open.
I'm all right.
His voice was weak and slightly slurred.
How are you all right?
This.
He held out his left arm and slowly opened his hand.
A syringe?
The insulin. Is he diabetic? And it was a syringe in a small vial. Soporil? The vial was empty. It had only recently been emptied. A few drops clung to the sides. There was a label taped to the side of the container. It read, Soporil Beta. Soporil Beta?
Soporil Beta. What does this do? Did you use this?
Yes. It's just anesthetic. I'll be fine.
anesthetic?
I found it earlier, while we were searching the hospital rooms. I thought it might be useful later. I didn't think I'd be using it on myself.
Why did you do this?
Didn't I tell you? I'd like to take a nap.
He probably feels great, to be fair. Is there any morphine?
I really am very tired.
I have been under anaesthetic. It's not a pleasant experience, I'll take that back. Like, general anaesthetic was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. I think that's what that scene in the original Matrix film, when Neo touches the mirror and he gets like enveloped by the cold metal. Like, that's exactly my feeling. That was my feeling. Like, I thought I was dying when I had general anaesthetic, and I just felt my entire body going numb from the toes up, and it like just chases you up to your neck, and then you go, and it's just awful. I never want to go through that again. Junpei knew that wasn't why he'd done it. Ace had injected himself with anaesthetic to forestall Junpei and June's attempts to bring him along. If he couldn't move, there was nothing they could do. He'd injected himself so that they'd be forced to leave him behind.
Ace!
Is there something you want to say? I just like to sleep a little. Could you keep it down?
No! Don't, Ace! Don't fall asleep!
You feel warm. So comfortable. I think I'll have a nice dream.
Ace's eyelids drooped further and further, almost as though he were dying.
Ace! Ace!
She shook his shoulder again and again, but this time he didn't respond. Only the gentle rising and falling of his chest told them he was alive. Junpei was relieved to see he was, in fact, still breathing.
Let's get him up on a bed.
To be fair to Ace, this is a great way to deal with life's problems, right? Just go to bed. I'm about to die. There's a bomb in my stomach. I've got 6 hours to live. I'm just going to go to bed. If I wake up tomorrow, that's a win, right? He lifted Ace up off the floor and laid him on the bed he'd been leaning against. When Junpei turned around, Lotus gave him a look of pity.
Well, we really don't have a choice now.
Yeah, I'm sure you're very happy.
We can't let his sacrifice go to waste. Right?
Like you even mean that.
Yeah.
You say something?
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Come on, stand up for yourself, dude. What's she gonna do? It felt wrong, but he had to agree. And suddenly Santa spoke.
Yeah, but we're not done choosing yet, are we?
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, we haven't decided who's going in what door.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's true.
Enough of this screwing around. Let's decide. You first, Lotus. Which door do you want?
I want door number 8.
Why does she get to choose?
It's the same number as my bracelet number.
Yeah, good for you.
Got it. You're 8.
Well, so that means she has to go with... So that means 8... I think, 7 for 15... and Clover. Oh. I did maths wrong. Let's just listen to them.
You're next, 7. Which one do you want?
I'll take 7. I can't get along with that old lady.
What? What did you just say?
2 right, 7. Her face distorted by rage, Lotus took a step towards 7. He threw up his hands and made a face like a child caught with his hands in the cookie jar.
Who, me? I didn't say nothing.
Why-
You're gonna get it next time.
Why is everyone scared of her, man? This is ridiculous. She shot him a glare that would have melted steel, then turned and stalked off. Is it just me, or is it like... It's actually quite fun antagonizing someone who's so volatile? Like, I find that quite fun. Because you know they're going to react, right?
Alright, who's next?
Santa's gaze moved across the three people left. Finally, they stopped on Junpei.
Junpei, which door do you want?
Right. At last, Junpei's mind was already made up. I can't go to door 3, can I? So if I go with Lotus, to go through door number 8, we need 17. So that would mean Clover. And the other 3 to go through door 7. If I go with 7, then June gets to go with us. What is wrong with my mask? What is wrong with my mask, guys? Seriously. It's the wine, I'm blaming on the wine. I need 17. How does it work, does it? No, I don't think it works. It means I have to go with Lotus. This is silly. Sorry, I'm wasting calculator time here. I'm not wasting time, I've got to do this, right? So I can't go with 7. Because if Clover comes with us, that doesn't... Yeah, it does. What am I talking about? But I could go with either of them. What is wrong with my maths? Right, so Clover's coming with me, whichever one I pick. If I want to go with door 3, I think it's Santa and Clover, right? Or Clover and Santa. That might be a nice change of pace. Well then, will that work for the others? No, it won't. I don't think I can go through door 7, I think I have to go with Lotus. I don't know what's going to happen here, because there's obviously specific maths situations that have to work. I'd rather go through door 3, I don't want to go with either of you people.
I want to go through door number 3.
Nope, you can't.
Huh? Why?
Because it's impossible. If we split ourselves into 3 and 3, then we give up on going through door 3.
Why?
The bracelet numbers for the 6 of us
Yeah,
are 3,
figured.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 2 combinations that can go through door 3 with 3 people. 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8. That's it. Of course, 2 teams can't go through the same door.
I see. That means one team would get left behind.
That's right.
That doesn't happen if we go through door 7 or 8?
No, they're fine. We've got 3 options.
Santa began to explain. Thank you. I made a mess of
Option
explaining myself.
Have 3, 5, and 8 go through door 7.
So, me, Santa, and Lotus.
And 4, 6, 7 go through door 8.
Clover, 7, and June. That's a nice group.
Option B, 4, 5, and 7 go through 7.
So me, Clover, and 7.
And 3, 6, and 8 go through 8.
Santa, Lotus, and June.
Option C, 3, 6, and 7 go through 7.
Santa, June, and 7.
And 4, 5, and 8 get 8.
Clover, Junpei, and Lotus. I hate all these options, man.
Those are the only 3 options. That's it. At least if we want to get all 6 of us out of here.
Wait.
Yeah, we're not with June in any option. Plan A divides into 2 teams. Plan B divides into 2 teams. And Plan C divides into 2 teams.
But that means
There was one thing they all had in common.
5 and 6 can never be on the same team.
Yes.
If we want all 6 of us to go through a door, then June and I can't go into the same one.
Yes, because Ace was the key to that. June and Junpei had been friends when they were kids. He trusted her more than anyone else on the ship. If he chose 7 or 8, he'd be taken away from her. Was that something he was prepared to do?
Have you mulled it over enough, or do you need more time? Anyway, that's the deal, so think it over. You've got 2 choices, 7 or 8. You can't choose 3. If you choose 3, you're gonna be leaving 3 people behind to die. So what are you gonna do? 7 or 8? Time to choose.
Junpei thought hard. After thinking it over, his conclusion was... choose door 3. They'd have to drag Ace's body. Or something. Take the risk and choose 3. That would be pretty cool, right? Feels it's cool that this is an option. Like, I don't know what's going to happen here, but we're all going to get in a fist fight or something. I wish the options were presented like sharp and clear here. Just let me run this over. Door 8 is definitely with Lois, so which means we have to go with Santa. No, which means we have to go with Clover. Sorry, why am I just scrambling my brain? Whereas if we go to door 7 with 7, 12, then we need 16, so that would be Clover. So, okay, the thing here is, do I want to leave June with Lotus and Clover? Do I want to leave June with Lotus and Santa, or do I want to leave Clover? Do I want to leave Clover or June with Lotus and Santa? Christ. I guess that's the crux here, right? Because they're going to boss her around, they're going to argue. June clearly feels like Lotus is responsible for this whole sacrifice dynamic. And if we bring her with us, we can take care of her a bit. I think from the point of view that Clover is someone who thinks that she's, well, I don't know, she's kind of living under the delusion that she's going to find her brother by going through the door. So we're going to have to deal with that element of it, right? Okay, so if we bring Clover with us, she's going to be hell-bent on finding a brother. And that's going to be like a distraction, and she's not going to help us. And she's just going to look for her brother everywhere, not figure out the puzzles or anything, so she's going to be kind of useless. Maybe I'm just trying to think how she's going to behave. If she goes with Lotus, and we're not there, she's going to do the same thing, and then Lotus is probably going to snap at her and tell her, like, your brother's dead, he's not here, I lied to get you to come through the door, right? Just I feel like if I go through door 3, and Snake somehow shows up, it's such a gamble, right? I'm a gambling man. I'm not that much of a gambling man, but... would be Santa, Clover, and Junpei for door 3. And then we're potentially leaving the 5 of them behind to wait for... yeah. So if... Sorry, 3, 4, and 5 went through. That would leave... If he does come back, Ace is there too. Ace wakes up. They find Snake. They can't go through anyway, so this is a pointless discussion, Matthew. Sorry. I don't think we can go through door 8 with Lotus coming. I'm going with 7.
Okay. Fine. I'll go with door 7.
Okay, 7 it is.
Yeah.
Alright then. That means June's gotta go through 8.
Huh? Why?
June's face was blank and confused. Santa muttered to himself and turned to Junpei.
Junpei, you figured it out, right? Can you explain it to her?
Okay, so, June, if we want all 6 of us to go through a door...
Junpei chose his words carefully. When Junpei finally finished, June looked as though she was about to cry.
Oh no! You're saying we aren't gonna see each other again for a long time.
Yeah, like an hour. Junpei felt just as June did, he wanted to be at her side, through whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew that if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June, he was scared to lose her, But he swallowed, steeled his resolve, and did his best to smile.
Hey, come on. You're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that.
You mean they're connected somewhere?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
She didn't sound very hopeful.
I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere.
It was 7 that interjected.
Why? What makes you think so?
If they don't, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here.
Yeah, good point. Good
Zero's
point.
been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door.
June said nothing.
Hmm.
The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. He met them, and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder. Now, hang on. 7 before talking about memory loss, was that specific to him, or have all of them got memory loss? And have we got memory loss?
Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again. I promise.
June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod.
Yes. Promise?
Her voice was barely above a whisper. Santa's voice shattered the moment.
You guys are done, right?
He stretched and continued.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 8 and Clover can take 7. Any problems with that, Clover?
Clover looked away and was silent for a moment.
Whatever.
It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care.
All right, we're ready to go then. Let's move.
I still don't quite understand. If Santa's coming with us, then that means we're going through door number 7. No, because I said I was going through door 7. What am I chatting about? Clover, 7 and Junpei walked towards door number 7. Santa, Lotus and June headed for door number 8. Yeah, if I had to choose for someone to keep an eye on Clover here, because she's the most vulnerable, perhaps, psychologically here, I just wouldn't want her to go with Lotus. I'm happier that she's with us. For a long moment, they stood in front of the door. 7 took a deep breath.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it, 80 odd
Okay.
seconds?
Let's go.
I never want to do the digital route calculations ever
It's open.
again. A narrow hallway stretched out before them. 7 and Clover leapt through the door.
Let's do this!
Let's go!
Hurry!
The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. The detonators in the bracelets had been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. He looked to his right, toward door number 8. June stood there, a mirror image of Junpei. She turned and looked toward him. Their eyes met. They nodded.
June.
Jumpy.
Their farewell took almost 1.5 seconds.
What the hell are you doing, Junpei?
Then something took a hold of Junpei's arms and hauled him bodily through the door. Foolish. He heard the sound of the numbered doors slam shut behind him. His bracelet gave a cold electronic beep.
Only 81 seconds left! No time to waste, guys! Let's get moving!
Let's go! 7 led the way down the hallway. Junpei and Clover followed him as fast as they could. After what seemed like far more than 81 seconds, they reached the end of the hall.
Look! The door on the left! I can see the dead!
There was no time to rest or catch their breath. All 3 slammed their hands in quick succession over the scanner panel on the dead. Still trying to catch his breath, Seven leaned heavily against the wall.
It stopped. It stopped.
His smile seemed forced and a little crooked.
This is the second time we've gone through one of these numbered doors, but whew, you never really get used to it.
Nope. He stood up straight, no longer out of breath, and wiped some of the sweat from his head and neck. Clover smirked at him.
I would have thought a guy your size would have bigger balls than that.
What? What the hell did you just say? Say it again! I dare you!
I regret coming with these two.
You have no...
You little... You want to die?
I'd like to see you try.
You fucking brat. All right, let's go!
Hey, calm down, guys. This isn't the time for this. It's not going to do us any good.
Great babysitting.
Uh,
Junpei sighed. Sometimes he wondered if the doors and the puzzles were really the greatest challenge they faced.
Wait here for a minute, all right? I'm going to go see if there are any other doors.
They didn't respond, but Junpei wasn't in the mood for a conversation anyway.
We just came through this door. And of course it's shut tight. There's a short hallway on the left here, and an iron wall. I doubt I can get through it.
Right, guys, I'm going to end the video there, just so that we get all this information at the start of the next one. So, yeah, the digital route just fried me, absolutely destroyed me. But yeah, Snake's gone, Ace is gone. I think it has something to do with that unmarked door, personally. Maybe as a reward for finding all of the mechanisms, he got to pass through that middle door, perhaps. Don't know. I mean, I guess everyone is a candidate for being a stooge at this point, but he was definitely one of them because he had that note at the beginning. So, yeah, seemed a bit, his intelligence made him seem like he was overly well informed. So, you never know. Same thing could go for Ace, I suppose. Maybe the true test is whether you're prepared to sacrifice yourself for the others. Alright, hope you enjoyed it, guys. Just remember, everyone, never trust and uncrate. I'll see you next time.